pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Do roll call. Ben Hub.
Here.
Dan Van Buren.
Here.
Jeff Corpenny.
Here.
Do we have any guest speakers tonight? Any guest speakers? Correspondence?
I don't have anything.
Nothing. Ed? Anything, Jeff, you have anything?
Yeah, I've got that letter from Mr. West. I scanned it and sent it to you. Here's the original for your file. I'd always like to read your anonymous letters. Maybe you'd like to read that.
Do you want to keep that, or what you want to do? I don't know, if you want to do anything else. Yeah. Under reports, safety.
Everything's all right with the four trucks, we gotta get it checked out.
Fire company.
I have all the contacts back now, so.
Under zoning.
I gave you all packet. We had one permit, and that was the last of the year, 015-15, for Patrick Grapevine at 10989 Open Woods. They're putting up an accessory building. In 2016, they will be building a home structure. We had a variance meeting, so we had one application for a variance. It was approved December the 15th for lot split road frontage. Update for the health department, the 15682, 15489 Main Street, both received letters to clean up. 16246 Laurel Hill, they are going to be going back up there January, and she talked to her prosecuting attorney. They came back and stated to go ahead and continue on with what we were doing. She sent me photos, which I gave you, attached photos, I believe 4 pages. And the individual at 16246 stated to the health department that they were running a business and were planning on retiring. I would like for you guys to review this. I gave a copy to our future trustee. Prosecuting attorney would like you to vote on it January.
Very good. Anything else under zoning?
You have on here the Brownsville alley. Did we ever find out about that alley, if they're gonna clean that gravel out of it or what?
I spoke with the prosecutor about it. We were kind of still in correspondence on a few things. She wanted to know the specific location and stuff like that. She was gonna look into it.
Okay.
Do you know, has that been vacated or anything?
No,
It's not.
according to
It's
what we
still-
have, it is not,
Okay.
has not been vacated.
According to who?
According to Licking County, ODOT.
Okay.
They don't have anything showing it. So if we want to vacate it, the landowners would start the paperwork, or what, would we initiate it?
Okay.
You home?
Well, I'll finish correspondence with
Hey, I'll
her
call you back.
and go from there.
Okay.
The zoning board, I don't know, nothing. Unfinished business, Somerset right away. I don't have anything to report on that. Anything more for on that, Jeff?
On what?
The Somerset right away.
I gave you all the information and you guys tabled it.
That's why I'm asking. Anything else? Any further information on that? Any more details or anything?
I gave you all the information.
I'll make a motion that if that stuff is in the right of way, that Jeff Corpenny go ahead and remove the items that are in the right of way on Somerset Road.
And I'll second it.
Under discussion, I think we should notify the owner of the property to do that. That's their,
Make an amendment
it's
to the
their,
motion.
it's their property to do what, it's their business.
Actually, it's in the right of way, they have the right to remove it.
It belongs to them, so I think they should be notified and they should
Make an amendment
have
to
the
the motion
opportunity to remove it themselves.
to allow Jeff Corpenny to notify the property owners before removing anything that's in the right of way on Somerset Road.
I think that the board should do that by a letter.
And I'll second
Second, what, to do it by letter?
it. No.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
How's this gonna read in the minutes?
Ben made a motion for Jeff to remove the items in the right of way, and Dan seconded it. Ben moved to amend the motion to say that Jeff was to notify the resident, and Dan seconded it.
I don't know that I have O'Reilly's contact information in order to do that.
If he's a registered voter, I'm sure you can get that information.
I know his address, I don't know his phone number.
Do roll call, Hub,
Yes.
Van Buren,
Yeah.
Corpenny.
No.
Any other unfinished business?
On your agenda, you tabled a couple of things. One was the Somerset Road thing, the other was the insurance, is that on the? You got that under new business, is that what that is?
Yep.
Any other unfinished business? No. New business? The medical insurance?
I do have a resolution if you would like to do that.
I read that into the record last month, I'll move that we adopt that resolution.
Can I see it, please?
Didn't make any changes in it, did you?
No.
Does it state that it's a permanent change?
I'm not sure, I read it a couple of weeks ago, so I'm not sure if that was.
accept it, yeah.
Yeah, does it say permanent at the top? No.
It says in the matter of eliminating township officer to full-time employees, and then it states in there, the stair-step process it would take. Eliminating January 1, 2016 for the trustee office, for the offices filled in the 2015 election, and then we'll do away in 2018 for the offices filled in the 2017 election.
Again, I'll move the motion to pass the resolution.
Is there a second to the motion?
I'll second it.
Roll call, Pup,
Yes.
Van Buren,
Yeah.
Corpenny,
Yes.
Any other new business? Can't make this work, can I? Anything? No? You were about taking that truck over to Schaefer? Oh, no.
Check it out first.
Alright, do you have anything else? Nothing? Alright, under public comment, any public comment tonight?
What's that, Gary?
I'd like to ask that letter to show the board.
This is yours. Do you want it?
That would make for you guys.
There you
I'm
go.
going out here another word from this place. Huh?
If you wanna file that, file that.
I think I'm gonna read anonymous letters.
Would you like to,
Yeah,
would you like to read this report, Penny? Help yourself.
In this case, I do have comments, since you like to make a comment.
December 9th, 2015, this is a letter from the Licking County Health Department to residents at 14282 National Road. On December 7th, 2015, I conducted an inspection of your property located at 14282 National Road in Thornville in response to a complaint received by the Licking County Health Department. At the time of inspection, there were no conditions present that could be considered a public health nuisance. As such, this complaint has been closed. And that's Kristen Reed from the Public Health Sanitarian, Licking County Health Department. Do you want that back, or? You can file that then in the records. The copy of your letter I presented at the beginning, they had no interest in reading it.
No interest in reading it?
So if you'd like to,
I'd like to hear it, because I didn't hear it. I mean, I didn't get a letter.
the one that you left in my mailbox.
Oh, that letter, okay, okay.
Let him read it, if he wants to read it.
Question on the letter. Wouldn't that be a private letter from resident to resident, has nothing to do with township?
What how'd you get in this?
It was presented at public comment by a resident behind me.
Is that
You
correct?
talking about that?
I have.
Talking about the one that
and a
is,
copy.
that Mr. Corpenny drew up.
The letter
You just put it
that
to the table.
supposedly is
Right,
private,
Did you hear my question?
a lot of the stuff
Is it
that was said
resident to
about us
resident?
should have been private.
Ask me again.
Is that resident to resident? Does it have anything really to do with the township?
Yes,
The letter that was presented from
There's
Mr.
a letter
Scott,
in your hand that Mr. Corpenny gave you guys.
if he's presented to the board,
Right, but do you see what I'm asking now? Is that a letter to a resident?
no,
Yeah.
Or was that letter directed to the township?
yes.
I think I'm talking to the board.
It's still a resident.
That's what I thought. Thank you.
Okay, now I have.
Can you
a
make
public
sure that
comment.
was heard in record? That is to a resident.
That's opinion.
I have a comment about this. Everything that was said about us, that's addressed in the letter, was said at the meeting in an open group. And it needs to be addressed at the meeting.
The meeting was
Because
over.
everybody here heard it though.
Not everybody heard it. She's wrong
Well, I
there
know
also.
you did.
No, you're lying there. You're lying.
All right, all
I
right.
wasn't in the building.
We're gonna move on. That's,
Okay, well, I can see how next year's gonna be.
Ron, did you have a public comment?
Yeah, one thing I don't make is, I told Mr. Courtney still owes the township money. So he got mine with it, and I got my what's in leak for a few years.
That's the best payment.
So that's the best payment I can ever.
I want a retraction of what was said here.
If you'd like to read your letter.
I want a retraction of what was said out in public.
Excuse me. Go ahead, Bob.
Out in the park, there's that hurricane, I call it the clothesline, and it says BGTPC, would that be Park Committee? Is that what that says? Can we have the PC removed, because there is no Park Committee? It is Bowling Green Townships, but it's not parks. And if this thing was brought in, and the township actually had to pay for it, then that Park Committee needs removed, because it offends a lot of people in this township. Just the PC,
Sure. We'll table that.
thank you.
The flag's a little tattered over here in the park.
We have one on order.
I started saying I got a flag more willing to donate, brand new, but the trouble is getting her up there on the line, because there's like a box on there,
I'll hold the ladder.
and there's a key. You want to do it with a ladder?
I'll hold the ladder, you climb it.
Because that key here has been missing.
Alright, we'll look for the key if it's here then. We have a flag on order, so.
All right.
Why isn't the key in the box? That's where it should be.
I don't know, I don't know, have you?
Maybe there then.
It might be, good possibility.
That's where it's supposed to be.
But we'll definitely look into expedite that, get it replaced. Definitely.
Several months ago, I believe a motion was moved to purchase a new flag.
Absolutely, that's what I said. Did you have a comment?
Yes, there was I want to know how, if you guys did not read the letter, right?
Correct.
Then how does anyone else know what was in it besides the person that got it and you guys?
Yes, if I read it?
I
read
want
it
to
because it
know,
was sent-
if
an
you
email
didn't
was
read
sent to
it
me.
out loud, how does anyone else know what the letter is about besides the person that got it and you guys?
Did you share it with anybody?
No.
Did the person receiving that letter share it with anybody? I can't answer that.
Okay, I want a retraction on everybody that was here, that was still here, was told that we were chased out of our last house, we were chased out of it, and it's been said more than once here, and during meetings. I can go back and find it. You were chased out of that property, you had to move, and I want that to stop, because that never happened. You know, Muskingum County doesn't even have any zoning anyway.
Slander.
Yes, it was.
Very slanderous. I can get with my attorney and have him to change the reading to go ahead and file the charges.
I want a retraction that that was not true,
I don't think
and they
that's,
don't know what they're talking about.
I don't think that's a township issue, so.
Okay, but it was said here more than once, and on tape.
Okay, but I still don't think that's a township issue.
Somebody sitting at the table heard it, then when it was on tape.
Okay, again, I don't think that's a township issue. That's my opinion. Do we have any other public comment?
Are we done with the meeting?
No, not yet. Go ahead.
Oh, I wanted just, this thing with the zoning inspector taking it up on herself to call the health department. And when I talked to the lady at the health department, that the person that came out to the house, that she couldn't find any trash. And I'm trying to find out what, is it, the health department lady said it's not the township's business to take up with a resident over a trash complaint. It is not in zoning. It's what I'm trying to, you understand what I'm saying?
Sure not. Maybe I can speak to the zoning inspector. If there was a complaint that was made that possibly had something to do with trash and we don't have that in our zoning, she's gonna turn that over to the health department. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So that's probably what was done.
Why didn't the person that had the complaint, did the zoning, the health department person told me that the zoning inspector does not run the health department. And
Right.
it's not her business
Yes, it is my business.
for a complaint that if I want to make a complaint about trash on somebody's property, that's against the zoning law? Where the trustees would be going after a
Why
person?
wouldn't, what's his name, call the health department himself?
Yeah,
Why would it be a zoning
I don't know who it was.
inspector?
I made the
Oh, we
it's a
do.
Dozenberger, I know it.
I couldn't answer that. I can't speak for
The
him.
girl from the health department said it was a zoning inspector.
Correct. That
It's
contacted the
not
health
her
department.
job.
Yeah, they were confused about it.
I would disagree with that.
She put
You
several
better
pages of it
then
in her
talk to
report
them.
this month.
I would
Is
disagree.
what?
There's several pages about it with all the photos you're placed in her report this month. So I can see it.
About our place?
Those are from the health department.
Oh, the health department, yeah, she did. She took
Did
pictures.
she give you those two?
She didn't give me any of that, but she said that
Well, now they're a
she would
township
mark it.
record because it's been presented in her report.
Yeah, she's
So your
going to
photos of
just
your
come
property are
out and
part of the
check to see
record.
if anything, but she said at this time, she didn't feel that it was a health issue.
That's not true.
Yes, it is
That's what she
true.
told
That
us.
is,
not
you're
true.
a liar.
I
That is
talked to
not
her.
true. That is
Well, we'll
I
call.
talked to the
not
lady.
true.
Well, what is,
You are making false
tell
statements.
us what is the
And
truth.
you just sat there and said other people make false
Tell us,
statements
just
to
tell us the
you.
truth, get on with it.
You're making false statements
Just
right
get
now.
on with it then.
Health department said they're coming back checking you again.
Sitting there
They
on
are
her ass.
checking with their
what
prosecuting
she does.
attorney to go forward on the action
That's
that
what
you
we
have
care
for from the health
The health
department.
department
And we
said-
are also to work with ours.
The health
Did you like all the copies of
She
your
didn't tell us
documents
that.
that you got paid on your fine?
She did not tell us.
Yes,
that.
she did.
Did they send you a letter one way
Yes,
or
she
the other?
did.
The health department will send you a letter, whether it's closed or not, they will send you one.
Did
Because
not
we've
say
had
You
to go
that.
through
didn't
the
get one
same
because
thing.
it's not closed.
They will send you a letter either way stating
Well, I
if it's
could
open
tell
or
you some
closed.
other things, but I won't repeat it.
You're
'Cause
pretty good at repeating things that aren't true.
I don't wanna,
Hey,
no.
hey, hey,
I think you need to stop running the meeting when it's not your
I'm
turn.
not running the meeting, Missy.
Go
You're
ahead.
making comments, and
Alright,
I really like to
hey,
make comments back to
We're
you.
gonna move on.
That's
enough. We're gonna move on.
It's not gonna change.
You're right, it's not gonna change.
We're gonna move on. Do you have any other questions or comments?
We didn't get any letter saying what she's saying. The girl just said, I'm gonna take these pictures now so that when you move stuff, I'll have evidence that it's changed. And she said, I don't see anything that's a real health issue, health department thing. That's what she said to us when she left.
What would be the reason that they would tell you have to move that?
She just said she didn't see anything that really had to be moved. She was going to take the pictures for our record to show if anything was moved, or if it got worse or something, just so she had it.
So they came out there on a health violation, which would have been trash, correct?
It said trash.
Okay, and they didn't find that, correct?
She didn't say she found any trash. Now, he was tearing a camper, he told her, I'm tearing this thing up, taking it to the junkyard, and there's some stuff the wind blew, and I've gotta pick that up. She said, I realized that. And then she said, and I also will consider that it's going into bad weather just since that report, and you'll get cleaned up now. We had some warm weather, we've been working on it. But she did not say we were gonna be fined or anything on it. She didn't. And I've covered up things, we've moved a lot of
Well,
things.
she said she's gonna come back, right?
I don't know when.
Okay, well
She
then,
didn't say I'm coming back tomorrow, we got this date to do this. She didn't say that.
any other public comment? No?
I make a motion to pay bills.
Second.
we gotta make a date for,
For the first of the year meeting?
yep,
What do you think? Get that on it.
Monday's fine. Monday's fine with it.
Would you be all right with that Monday morning?
First Monday.
I make a motion that we have our yearly organizational meeting for 2016 on January 4th at 8 a.m.
Okay, yeah. I'll second it.
Roll call vote.
Yes.
Dan,
Yeah.
Jeff,
Yeah.
Please pass the checks over. First check is 4753 for ABSO distribution for checks, $123.33. Do you have a receipt, of the table for any of these checks? Some of these are not listed on here.
that's last month.
You know how to list them.
It's on the agenda, like it always is. Huh? He's got it.
Go on to the next one. 4749, chainsaw supply, 335.29.
When is the organizational meeting in January? Fourth? At 8 a.m.? Yes, it is.
Next one's Jenny Ball, $14.45. Postage, 4750. Diesel truck equipment, $176.12. Check 4751. Four seven five two, City Tire Service,
Yes, sir.
$1,297.60.
You say no on some stuff, every once in a while, they do something. Doesn't like it pretty boring.
Yeah.
You got a camera system? Maybe you know something.
You will feel welcome, 4754. $429.57.
Ms. Jennings, a question was brought, what is the Licking County Township Association?
All of the townships are in the county association and have to pay dues.
Dues, okay.
Under CRC here for Englefield.
What do they do for you?
4756, Auditor of State, $518.
Yeah, they represent the township.
Those are annual
State
dues?
issue or something like that,
Yeah,
instead of each
they're annual
township,
dues.
they would represent Lincoln County.
Gotcha. And who's in charge now?
The mafia, shaking on that.
Who's doing that now? Who represents us?
Number 757.
So there's not a given issue.
Would that be Danny Wright?
They have a board, just like a township does. They have 3 trustees and a fiscal
Okay.
officer.
4758, Barb Salee,
association.
5748. 4742, Jeffrey Corpenny, 62325. Jenny Duval.
Is that his last check?
4743, $918.37. Jack Richard Hedges, 4744, $25.42. Another one for Barb Salee, 4746, $299.12. Donald W. Watkins, check 4748, $131.96. Other time sheets attached somewhere.
I gave them to you.
Right here. No,
These are the originals. They should be in there.
that's still more stuff.
That's a waste of $643. That is. Oh, yeah, we're just gonna buy it.
Time sheets are in there.
Oh,
But
it's
you
like,
do have
you
copies. I gave
kinda
them.
look like I'm.
Come on, you sign that right? Watkins here, we have Hedges.
You have Watkins.
Pull it off, the dog.
Check.
That wasn't too bad for Ace. 2 noses and a. Yeah. Fix it real quick like that.
Taxes on these.
I've already read these, I moved to adjourn.
On here, just out of curiosity, that Alder estate, is that for taxes on the property?